I like how this channel has just become my way of venting about whatever writing topic that I'm currently struggling with, but under the guise of it being an art channel, because technically I'm doing art. I mean, writing is art, right? Greetings here, it is I, Hilariously Scary, and today we are going to be talking about edgy characters. I have a script for this one, but I don't really know what the point, there's no thesis statement, it's just I wanted to draw my character doing something excessively edgy, and I felt like I needed to justify myself and be like, edgy characters are not that bad. Because I really wanted to draw this and nobody's allowed to fight me. Yeah, I was actually gonna make a different video this week, but then in the middle of drawing for that video, I was like, I just want to draw Obsession being edgy, so I just did it. I'm gonna talk about edgy characters, why I love them, why they're not that bad, but why they're really hard to write. So, first of all, let's define our terms. What is edginess? What is an edgy character? I like to think of it as they're cringy characters that are dark. The ones that are like excessively dark are the ones called edgy. Excessively dark or humorously dark or hilariously scary, as some might say. But I think whenever it boils down to it, it's just characters are writing that are dark for darkness's sake. It's darkness for the sake of darkness in the way that it's like, it's so obvious that you're just doing this because you want to draw something edgy. And it's that cheapness to it, okay? I don't know how to describe it. It's darkness for darkness sake, okay? And it bothers people. Not me though, because I freaking love edgy characters. Edgy characters are my bread and butter. I live and breathe edgy characters. If there's not an edgy character in a piece of media, I can't enjoy it. So I don't often look at edgy characters and be like, this is really cringy. I don't think I've ever like watched a video and been like, oh man, this is too edgy for me. Well, except for there are a couple of characters that I find cringily edgy. Yeah, okay, so I cringe at my own edginess. I want to make these videos, I want to draw these characters being edgy, but the second that I put it online, I'm like, this was a mistake, I regret everything. I love creating edgy characters, but there's something about seeing them on screen being edgy and knowing that other people are seeing it, it just makes me cringe so hard. And I think that it's because it feels cheap. So I have a theory about edgy characters, and it involves cheap writing. But what do I mean when I say cheap writing? It's like writing but without putting the work in it. It's empty writing. So like when you see an edgy character, especially like the fall arc, because I'm obsessed with the fall arc, it's this pure character or like this ordinary character that goes through this transformation and turns dark and like transforms their society. I haven't seen the new Joker. I'm fully aware that the new Joker movie is probably gonna do exactly what I'm talking about in this, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to like bring it up. I've already made a mistake. But like seeing the character rise, or I suppose fall that far, like stirs such a primal emotion in us. And so when we go, that's cool, we see the darkness and we say the darkness is cool, and it makes us want to write the darkness, but we don't understand the point that the character got to the darkness, so we just write the darkness, and it feels cheap because we didn't do all the character work that got them to the darkness. It just felt like we just pushed them to the darkness for the sake of it being dark. And that's what I mean when I say darkness for darkness sake. Because I think that the most egregious type of these edgy characters aren't the like Disney villains that are just evil for evil's sake and that's all they need to be. It's these characters that you're supposed to like empathize with that are just cheaply written fall arcs. They're characters that go bad. But if you don't set up the fall correctly, it just doesn't feel right, and it feels edgy, it feels cringy. And that's why so many animation memes and amateur writing seem edgy instead of like these amazing fall arcs, because there isn't enough to establish the reasons for the darkness. So you just see the characters being dark and you don't understand their psyche and like what led them to this place and like why they're acting that way, so it just comes off as like making it dark because you want it to be dark. So like I can sit here and talk about all day about the changes that Obsession as a character, because I'm drawing Obsession, the changes he goes through that gets him to this point of being this I love Obsession's storyline. He's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the idea with Obsession is he comes from this group of like these very warlike, not a tribe, describe, but like similar. And they have this prophecy about this embodiment of the sun, like the actual sun, because they live in a desert and the sun is like this terrible thing in their society. So they have this prophecy about the sun that becomes like a real human person. There's a lot of weird imagery because he has both the imagery of the sun and also butterflies, because they believe that the two are connected. So he's not actually, people were commenting like, oh cool, he sprouted wings. They're not just wings, they're ripped butterfly wings. And I think that's really cool, but even saying it, like I feel like it sounds so edgy because it makes sense in the story, but you don't see the story, you just see the ripped off butterfly wings. It's gonna be cool, I hope. Gosh, the thing with fall arcs is you have to show the light for the darkness not to be cheap. It's like that saying, darkness exists to make the light truly count. I don't know where it comes from. I read it because it was the title of a fan fiction, but I know it probably isn't from that fan fiction. But darkness, you need the light to make the darkness count, and you need the darkness to make the light count. That's why I love the character Philip so much, because like he goes through so much darkness that the light at the end of the tunnel is blinding. But if you don't see the light, you don't have the light, and you just have the darkness, it feels like darkness for darkness sake. It doesn't feel like darkness to contrast the light. Oh, it's just, writing's difficult. I'm just complaining because I got dragged back into the Transcendence AU, and I'm trying to write a fan fiction that I wanted to write when I was 15. The Transcendence AU is what made me start writing and start doing art and start taking it seriously. It was because I wanted to create for this AU, so it's so wild being like able to write and able to draw and able to create content for this AU, but it's also so wild because the main character, Alcor, he can be so edgy, and the way that I'm writing him, he's supposed to be peak edginess, but I make him so tame because I'm so scared of people being like, ooh, this is edgy. But then I'll go back and read fan fictions where Alcor is just being so edgy, and I'm like holding back screams because I love it so much. Gosh, it's such a good AU. But then like I feel like I can't put it in my own writing because I don't want to be edgy. But like edginess, if you do it right, it can be so cool. That's why Breaking Bad is so amazing. That's why I love Code Geass, and that's why people love Death Note, because these are really edgy characters, but they're not just, it's not cheap. It like makes sense. My point being, give edgy characters a chance. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But be careful when you write edgy characters, but don't be afraid of them. If you just show the darkness without the light, yeah, it's gonna look cheap and edgy. But as long as you write both and have an understanding of your character, then go haywire, make your edgy animation memes, write your edgy think pieces, go ahead, do it, because I need more edge in my life. We need more fall arcs. I mean, fall arcs are really dangerous because like some people do fall arcs in real life and that's not a good idea, but I just like to read them. In conclusion, gosh, I feel like I've been talking for 5 minutes. This is gonna be a really short video. In conclusion, write edgy characters. Thank you and good night. I mean, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!